being Google has taken us live on. It's the Kemp Beck Scrum. It's a Friday. I have just been doing the Agile Dev Mob with Rose after, it was a lot of trouble setting up. But actually, so we were starting to look through Nico's pull requests on the Ruby assignments for the MOOC and start to assess those. And we didn't get as far as we'd like. But so hopefully next Friday, we will get on to actually testing them out on the grader and maybe trying to think about getting a grader upgraded to Ruby 2.4. Maybe the way to go. So yes, so that's good. Before that, what was did some costings for a social prescribing thing, and we've got the async voter meeting coming up, and not directly blocked kind of thing, just feeling a bit foggy. That's my update. Nico, how about you? How are things going with you?
Fine. I did a comment on the pull request. I don't know, maybe we can add that file, the .ruby version, or we can, because I was thinking also if we should add it or not, because the message that you will get when you have the file is, you don't have this Ruby version, you better install it. And if you don't have it, you maybe don't realize if you are just starting with the project, you don't know what is happening. So we can add it to the git ignore or let it there. I don't know. We have both options. And the other thing is, I got it working, the thing with GraphQL that I was trying to do, that interview that I'm gonna do the next Friday. So this that was working.
All right, excellent. Yeah, GraphQL is really interesting.
It's pretty cool.
Feels almost like a step back, like away from REST and back towards SOAP. Which is it's funny how people are. Well, anyway, maybe we'll talk about more about that at the end of the Scrum. But Ian is also here with us. Ian, how are things going with you?
Things are going well. It's Friday. So that's always a good thing. Right now I'm doing some work for my full-time employer. Main thing I'm working on is refactoring some SQL that's embedded in the controller of one of our reports, and I'm trying to abstract that and refactor that into a template that can be a little more flexible, but I have to make sure that I'm refactoring out several different queries, that they are returning the correct and expected results as they get refactored into that.
Yeah. Well, what tech stack is this in? You say controller. Is it a Rails controller or Django or what's that?
It's actually Perl. It's Catalyst MVC.
Cool.
And and Postgres. So. All right. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting application, full ERP basically for a print-on-demand company, and it was. It has a good deal. We have a good deal of technical debt that we're still trying to churn through. So this is,
plenty of employment for programmers. Technical debt. It's got to be paid down.
Yeah. I'm also looking for threads while I'm doing this to consider building some roll-up tables so that we can accelerate these reports, because right now they involve some pretty heavy queries. So.
And I presume is it open source or closed source? All of this code.
It's closed source. Yeah.
As so much is. Yes, indeed. Good stuff. So you're working on anything blocking you, like technically, philosophically, emotionally, any?
No, I mean, just the there's just a lot going on.
Sure.
In parallel, that I have to keep channels open, email and whatnot for new incoming issues, and kind of curate my focus in a productive way. But that's yeah, more of a constant struggle.
Yeah, indeed, for all of us. The can relate to that. Have you been? I don't know how you found about Agile Ventures. Have you been following along with one of the online classes, or you're just sort of are you looking to get involved in a Agile Ventures open source project?
I mean, I initially I connected with you guys. Somehow you guys were had connected with the Gitcoin community, which
that's right, of course, yes.
and so I had a more flexible schedule for a while, and now it's gotten very full very fast. So,
right.
But in general, I'm interested in having more community and accountability with other developers. So that's just something I'm interested in overall.
Yeah, wonderful. On the Gitcoin note, yes, we've just had our first Agile Ventures ticket has been assigned some Gitcoin bounty by the Gitcoin folks. So we're excited about that. Yeah. So yeah, right. It's I recognize the name and I hadn't connected to like where you come in through. So yeah, are there any questions that we can answer about Agile Ventures or anything at all that you're interested to know about how it works or what's going on?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I kind of hot dropped in, so
yeah, totally.
Didn't know much anything besides what's on the top of my head, which is just wondering, like, is this something where you're working on specific projects in each of these calls, or what's the?
Well, so we have these, varieties of different calls each day, and so we still don't have like what I would call an ideal system for allowing everybody to understand what's going on in our it goes over there. In our website, we've got like an events thing which lists all of the stuff. But what I do at the beginning of my day every day is I post a list into the general channel of kind of like stuff that's going down. So you can see that sort of list, and it follows like my living in the Europe time schedule. Occasionally there are other things going on, but the Martin Fowler and the Kent Beck Scrum are designed as kind of open Scrum, so anybody can come in and talk about any project.
Got it.
Is the idea. Although we try to articulate that, but so we have these little reminders come up that say, for the Scrums, everybody welcome, discuss any project, ask any question, or just listen in, and it's all good. And then there are other meetings that are sort of focused on particular projects. So like the one that's coming after this is going to be on the async voter. It says async 1, that's spelled correctly. Let me change that. That's why it says async 1 there. But yeah, and so then the individual, like, we've got the all of these things kind of supposedly listed in the events in Agile Ventures site, although that's all mixed in with people, not just meetings, but also people's pairing sessions and all sorts of different bits and pieces. So this can be a bit difficult to navigate. We have also created like a Google Calendar. We need to get better at coordinating all these and sharing these things. If I log into a different,
it could be that could be a good bounty.
Yeah, we've got some limited integration with Google Calendar on here, but yeah, I think a really solid integration could make a big difference. But so this is kind of the sort of lay of the land for, we have various things going on. There's also got like my personal calendar and stuff. Anyway, so there's a lot of, but I hope that answers the general question about the key distinction is between project specific meetings, which will have the name of the project in them, and then these more general scrums where it's basically anybody can come, anybody can get help, anybody can say hello, and we're simulating a kind of Scrum-like setup.
That's awesome. Yeah, that makes sense, I think.
Cool. Yeah.
And then there's something else that I was talking to somebody about. You guys do mobs or go through courses and things?
Yeah, we do. So we also have a number of mobs. You can see there were 2 today. There was the React mob and the Agile Dev mob. The Agile Dev mob has been following the Agile Development Using Ruby on Rails course online from edX at UC Berkeley. And the React mob was following an Udemy course on React, but it's now just become like random hacking on React and stuff. So yeah, those go on, and of course, some of them are going to be in. And I think are you West Coast?
Yep.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the earlier ones are probably going to be like ridiculously the wrong time for you. One day we will have more mentors and more people running mobs in every time zone. and it will be awesome. But yeah, so we're on that. I guess there is we do also, I have created like a booking calendar for the mobs, which you can under bit.ly mob with AV, and then I think you're already following me on social media. Basically, you can see. I don't know why it keeps on always shows this meeting with Armando. I don't know why it shows up in this calendar. It's like, oh God, trying to control the thing. But so you can see there. This is the next week. Is there a mob? There's usually Elixir Phoenix mob on Monday. There we go. So that's the pattern of the mobs, and you can actually book like a trial session in any of the mobs using the calendar there, and we'll get you in for any of that. So this is like an overview of all the mobs that are going on at the moment.
Cool. Yeah. I think that was part of what was created some friction for me engaging earlier was just the time zones. I don't know if there's what's involved with getting something started in a new time zone.
Oh, I mean, we've certainly got enough members who I think would like to participate in like the different time zones. It's basically getting an AV mentor who's willing to run, a mob in that later time zone. So so you can see a list of AV mentors. We've got mentors. Did I just have it under the mentors link? I think I did. Yeah. So that's the different mentors there, and we have a mix between Europe and the US. Yeah.
Where is that? It's on the website. Oh, under members.
And there's the mentors. So there's a link to mentors, which is different from members. So the mentors link there pulls out all the people who are AV mentors. I probably need to update this list, but yeah. So yeah. So I mean, it's kind of, and even in principle, if there's a topic that you're interested in, like focusing on, and you've got some background in it, then we could kind of get you or some other person set up as a mentor, able to run a mob in that time zone and use our infrastructure to sort of attract people to it. And that's what so for example, the Ethereum mob, that's what happened recently with that, is that Will, who runs that, volunteered to set that up, and it's just gone, then now has a good following. Federico runs the RSpec mob, which is now TDD mob. So yeah, I mean, just and Slack is the place where all those things get discussed, and we find out if people are interested in. Is there a thing that you'd like to particularly see a mob on?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, there's a project I'm working on personally that I'm pretty excited about. It's using a Raspberry Pi and trying to integrate some kind of DIY hardware and software tools to create what I'm calling a self-sovereign micromanager.
Cool.
So basically a way of tracking activity and then using those, being able to create some metrics that I can use to run some experiments to increase my own efficiency and productivity.
Cool.
Kind of automating management as much as possible, because if we're, especially having been self-employed for most of my life, when people talk about removing the middleman, most of the time that means becoming the middleman. So I'm pretty interested to see what could happen if we actually were able to automate more of those things instead of having to own them.
Yeah, well, there could be a Raspberry Pi mob that was run at a time convenient to you. That would be cool. We also, we're incorporated as a charity in the UK. One of our trustees is, we're just talking with him about these thing called looping for diabetes, and so there is a whole software framework that you can use. I think some people use Raspberry Pis for that to help manage diabetes injections and the insulin levels and everything. I mean, I don't understand enough about the diabetes side but the trustee was saying that he could pull down like a chunk of money for us to all work on like executing some of there are these like workshops that are run that are like events where people get together and they all like practice getting this sort of looping happening on the on bits of hardware. Is what I'm saying making any sense at all?
I'm not familiar with this term looping, but it does sound it definitely, I can see kind of the intersection points, because it's all about telemetry on oneself.
Exactly.
So yeah, and I think having more telemetry on ourselves, especially if it's within our control and not held by a third party, is cool.
yeah, totally. So this is, and I found that basically there are people who are running these DIY pancreas parties in the, I think not just in the, but I found one in the UK. And there, you know, there was a podcast on the changelog about this guy Tim Mecklem, who was using Elixir and Nerves, and you know, I think this is all about software development in that space. And so there's the potential for, I mean, with this trustee, he reckons like if we can show that there would be like health outcomes in the local area that we're, I'm physically in, and he lives in the same area, then there would be money for working on this kind of thing, running these kind of events, further developing the software and so on. But yeah, you'd have my full support if you wanted to set up a kind of, I don't know if there's a pejorative term that means like hardware, like low cost hardware hacking or whatever, like the Raspberry Pi stuff. Because I've got a couple of, I've got a Raspberry Pi. I've got one of, what have I got? I don't know. I've got some like, my uncle keeps on buying me these things that I keep on failing to have. What is it I've got? I've got a microbit embed thing here. I don't know.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, right now I just have it set up so it's. I actually have it running the normal startup Raspbian, but I have it running Synergy, so it's actually driving the keyboard and mouse for my work computer and my personal computer, which is kind of neat because it means it. If I ever have to reboot, I don't have to worry about the server that Synergy's running on blocking my access to anything. So
cool. Well, let's keep talking about the Tech Talk channel, which is just ripe for those kinds of things. Okay. Yeah. I guess I was just going. So with what was it? I guess the discussion of GraphQL. I need to go and start the async voter meeting. So we can talk.
No worries.
GraphQL kind of crazies another time. So I think probably I need to wrap it up there. I desperately need a cup of tea. Ian, lovely to meet you. Are you in the Tech Talk channel?
I am.
Yeah, let me just ping you there. So Raspberry Pi, and then we can sort of carry on there. But yeah, that would be lovely to have that kind of the sort of tech mob going on. Yeah,
awesome,
good stuff. Nico, have a fantastic weekend. Good, have fun with more.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I think have we got the website one stuff is deployed on develop. Did you try logging in with the G+? Nico, did you lose me?
No, sorry. No, I forgot.
Oh, okay, no worries. I think it's deployed if we want to check it out. I'll try and do some tests as well. Okay. We could, yeah, there's no rush. We can get that done on Monday. Cool. All right. Bye for now. Take care.
Bye-bye.